My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey gang, welcome back. Today's special guest, Josef Lapko, zooming in from Scottsdale, Arizona. But Josef does something interesting in the real estate space. He's got a lot of experience with historic developments. And when I'm saying historic, I mean really historic. We're talking about Jerusalem historic. So Josef, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
So Josef, we're in the middle of 2025 right now. You're not in Jerusalem, you're in beautiful Arizona. Give us a little snapshot of what real estate investing and development looks like for you right now. What are you focusing on this year? What kind of projects? Where are they? Just give us an idea.
Yeah, so I'm continuing to focus as a strategical consulting across different markets and helping developers to shape their track records and grow their team, put the right KPIs, right POC, right platforms so they can scale faster and better. And it's across different states and different platforms, but mostly it's a family offices who's looking for some help to grow.
Okay, interesting. That was the gentleman I just talked with, just interviewed a few minutes ago, works with a family office that does development deals. So it's funny how that works. So Josef, tell us a little bit about the whole historic side of things, historical developments. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so my journey in real estate really started in Jerusalem. I came as an operational manager, as an assistant to a CEO of a big nonprofit, which set down in the middle of old city in Jerusalem. Again, old city. I mean, it's funny. We walk here and they're looking at a historical building and said, "How old is this building?" "Oh, it's 100 years." So real historical.
That's a brand new one in Jerusalem for crying out loud.
Exactly. So you're looking at 2,500 years old houses. I mean, if anybody of the audience been into Rome and Jerusalem, it's kind of the same. You walk around, everything is historical. It's scary to touch things that you don't know. A lot of regulation, a lot of antiques. You don't know what you're going to find. And that creates a very interesting challenges. And then in the actual building of 6-story, which located across the Western Wall in the middle of the old city of Jerusalem, took us 3 elaborations of architects, because every time we discovered something way bigger than this architect office really can handle. 400 handmen working by hands because heavy equipment cannot go in. Water jets and robots, and it took almost 20 years to create a building.
Wow. Okay, and so walk me through the building that you created in Jerusalem. Is it an add-on to an existing structure? Is it remodeling an existing structure? You're talking about 6 stories, so that's, I'm guessing for that area, that's pretty significant, higher than average. So kind of paint a picture of this.
So it actually was a combination of American dollars organization that screwed over during the collapse of the dollar, early 2000s. And then as a gift, the Israeli agency gave this organization 3 apartments next to each other, which were built during the Ottomanian. So we're talking about the Turkish area. We're talking about 130, 140 years ago. And
so not that old, relatively speaking.
Not old, but it was apartments on the cliff, or the house on the cliff. That was the old name, black and white pictures. And then what's our institution, who had a very big vision to turn it into a visiting center, which, by the way, hosting about 30,000 people today from all over the world, had kind of a vision to turn it into something bigger. And they started to dig down into the cliff. And it was easy until it's not. You're going literally into the rock, and then you discover after like 10 feet down, that you have a water tunnel from the times of King Solomon, which is 3,200, 3,000 years ago, which used to brought water from the south of Jerusalem. And now there's a lot of agencies and a lot of people involved.
Yeah.
So eventually we digged in, and then there's other solution that we had to create along the way, from creating the most unique elevator, probably the one and only that exists in the Middle East. It's a glass, I mean, it's a whole topic by himself. And then if you want to see everything from the rooftop, then how do you clean the rooftop? How do you put all the systems, HVAC, electric, and all of that underground? You have to make something that never been existed before. We brought Mitsubishi from Japan. I mean, it's a long story, but it's a beautiful building today, and it's hosting 30,000 people probably every year. Multiple classes, cinema center which been donated by Kirk Douglas, the father of Michael Douglas.
Right.
And it's a pleasure. Eventually, it was a pleasure to working in that space.
Eventually. At certain points in that process, I can imagine it's an absolute nightmare. Okay, so coming over to the States, what experience did you bring from that to what you're currently doing these days, Joseph?
Yeah, so it's a big question. But first of all, I learned what is historical, and 130 years building, apparently it's historical in Cleveland, Ohio.
And probably in Arizona as well. Yeah.
In Arizona as well.
Yeah.
You need to work with the municipality and sometimes against, but being very clever and anticipate the resistance. Whatever you think it's going to take double or triple. So just be aware of that. Having the right team in the get-go. Don't underestimate on the team that you're putting together. Don't take the cheapest architect because he's going to give you a $50 AI some solution. Choose the right person if you really want to grow into the space you are. And it's better to put more risk money on the side than less. Take contingency very seriously.
So the companies that you're working with, the family offices you're working with, are they typically focused on these kind of historical developments, or is this just kind of a sideline thing that happens from time to time, depending on the project?
This happens from time to time. I spent many years in the multifamily garden style disrupted properties. Doesn't have to be historical, but you definitely have a heavy duty work to do. Underground, overhead, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, not just a lipstick renovation as we call them in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm usually not afraid from the heavy work and putting the right people into that with the proper anticipation. Yes, it's going to be heavy. Yes, it's going to be ugly. Yes, you need to have a big vision. But eventually, if you have enough perspective, then the return on the buck is much, much bigger.
Yeah, very good. So for you and your consulting business, where do you see things going over the next year or two?
Well, with interest rates, and it's kind of, we all hear it around that nothing is pencil around. Yeah. But I think despite everything, it's continuously, if you're consistent with what you're doing, if you focus on what you know, and you focus about the market, then you always find opportunity. People still doing business, still people buying crazy stuff, big, small. So despite everything around, I think people continue to do good business and creating wealth.
Very good, Joseph. So who's kind of your ideal clientele?
Hey, so perfect clientele. Small family office is doing $5 to $10 million of transaction who looking into grow to 70, 100 million cross market, expand to a different markets, building the right team and not just moms and pop show.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, Joseph, thank you very much for jumping on the show and sharing a little bit of your experience, especially around those historical developments. That sounds like one hell of a project. How many years were you involved in that one for?
I was involved about 6 and picking up all the leftovers and the legal problems at the end and the quality control, which people not see at the end, but that's,
Yeah.
I think the last 2% is the most hardest part, but it took me
I
about
would
6
imagine.
years to be involved.
I would imagine. And if people are watching this, they'd like to connect with you, where should they go, Joseph?
LinkedIn, Josef Lapko, JosefLapko, or my website, which is the same, joseflapko.com.
Fantastic. Well, Joseph, thanks for being on the show.
Likewise. Thanks a lot.
All right, everybody. Take care. See you on the next one. Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.